Hello, troopers, and welcome to the 501st Com Chatter with myself, Will. I'm joined by my wonderful co-host,
Chloe.
How are we doing, guys? We hope you're doing well. If you can, as you can tell, if you're watching this, my wonderful Chloe here is in the High Republic colours. Very nice to see, because you know what that means. It's Acolyte Day.
Yeah, we finally have the Acolyte
Yes.
on Disney Plus. We've been waiting ages for it. So yeah, we're going to be talking all things Acolyte and High Republic. We have 2 episodes this week, so there's a lot to break down.
Yes.
Because a lot happened. Well, not too much happened, but
enough that it was interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
it's all new characters and new stories and new parts of Star Wars. So.
Yep. Should be good. So as like normal, we have our little news. And then we're going to get into breaking down episode 1 and 2 for like things that we picked up on, little references and, you know, nods to like other factors as in like Old Republic.
Yeah.
Or like there's other stuff like if you've read the novels and stuff like that. So there's a lot. Starting off with personal news, we bought 2 things today for our collection. Couldn't help it. So the first thing that we have is we bought the Rex Microfighter. It is Microfighter, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep. So this is his Y-wing that we sort of see him in at the end of the Clone Wars. You know why we bought this? We bought this just for the Rex minifig. And we will be putting a post up on our Instagram probably tomorrow, basically doing a little competition, seeing like who can tell which is the UCS Rex and which is the Microfighter Rex, and seeing if any of you see any difference.
Yeah.
So
it's a fun little game.
Yes.
You guys can join in on our Instagram.
Yes. So we thought that was, you know, I wanted to get that as soon as it come out, and we finally got it today. And then while we were wandering around the shops,
as you do as a nerd,
yes, we then ended up going to Game, and we were having a look through the Funkos, and then we found one which was, I haven't seen this one in person before, but I know it was a Funko, and it's like that price, we can't miss it. So we got
Fixer.
Yeah.
He's from Republic Commando. So there's Republic Commando novels and the game, but this one's the gaming grade, so it's from the game. But he looks so cool. I'll show you guys.
Yep, we haven't even got him out of the box yet.
No. But we will, and we'll take a picture.
Yes.
So you guys can actually see him.
And he goes brilliantly with my boss that we have in our collection. So we now have 2 of Delta Squad. Looks very cool.
Funko, please make more Delta Squad.
We need
have the whole
Sev and we need Scorch.
Yes.
That's the only 2 that we need.
Because I don't think they've made Sev or Scorch.
They haven't.
If they haven't, then they need to make it.
They do.
And if they have, then sorry that we're wrong.
Yeah, but yeah. So
very cool.
Again, because of the price as well, like
quite like the pose that he's in as well. It's quite
sort of like soldier pose ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
nice.
paid £12 for that, and you can get it cheaper from what we found, less than 20. Like you're paying more than 20 for it. We're like
£12.
£12 for the fixer to go with Boss. So
yeah,
good little find.
I've not seen this anywhere. Like this is, it's got the Funko exclusive sticker on it, so I think it was originally exclusive to the website. But now it's in stores. So Yeah.
Very
Check
good.
out your local game if you're looking for this figure.
Shout out Game for helping us
Yeah.
find this one. Again, nice little find in my opinion.
And we love Funkos.
Yep.
I mean, I never collected them, but you had quite a bit of a collection, and since then I've bought you lots, and you've bought me like the Padme one.
Yep.
And
The Padme's in the
I think they're
collection.
really cute. And the fact that Star Wars ones are like bobbleheads is quite cute too.
It's a blessing and a also a fault as well, because some of the bobbleheads, the sort of
They get like
springs,
wonky heads.
and they got like their heads are like that, and I don't really like them like that. I would rather they just had like a normal head, but I guess it helps make them unique. So yeah. But yeah.
Really
So-
like that one. And he's very detailed as well.
So yeah, so Fixer has joined
should have-
the crew.
A little like speech mark next to boss saying, "Get yourself some back to soldier."
Yes, I like that. But yeah,
cool.
so we'll put a picture up on showing him and Boss together. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So going into
World news.
yeah, Star Wars news, shall we say? Now, I will say that there isn't a lot. We couldn't find too many like new set releases in Lego and Black Series figures and stuff like that. So we only have a little bit. So this, I believe, was in Walmart in America. This is the Oreo Dark Side or Light Side cookies. I know we mentioned them a couple of episodes ago, but
they're officially out now in America.
Yeah.
I really hope these come to the UK because I want to try them.
I do as well. I know what an Oreo tastes like, but we also have a picture of one of the Oreos himself, and it actually has the red, shall we say, cream, and it's actually got Darth Maul on it, which is quite cool.
He is quite cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I think they have different ones as well because I've seen another picture. Someone had Kylo Ren.
Oh.
So I think there's different dark side.
Well, there's probably going to be like a
I'm wondering what the
Vader.
light side is. Whether we got like Chewbacca or like Luke or something.
Maybe Luke, maybe Obi-Wan. I don't know. R2-D2.
Yeah, C-3PO.
Yeah, again, it's nothing like major or special, but we wanted to show it off because it is quite cool, and there isn't much news going on in a minute.
I mean, we've had lots of new Lego sets released. The first of this month, so that Rex Microfighter was one.
The two Mandalorian battle ones.
Yeah.
And
so there's the one with like the red guards, and then there's the one with the like kind of rocky background with like the what are they called, patrol troopers.
The Imperial Commandos.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian Imperials.
And then there was the Luke mech, and I think there was another one as well, but I can't remember. But yeah, so those were all released on the first, but we've kind of talked about them like as and when they got like the pictures got announced and stuff. But
yeah, we had to get the roots.
There's not been much else new.
No. I will say as well, in case you haven't watched any of the Acolyte, this next picture is a bit of a spoiler, and this whole episode is actually going to be a spoiler if you haven't seen it. But I'm giving you a little bit of time before we swap over. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So this has been revealed as the first sort of lot of Funko Pops from the Acolyte. Now
you already have your eye on at least 2 of these.
So there's 5 here. I'm definitely getting 2. But I was saying to you, I reckon they are gonna do more characters from it. There's no way this is the only ones.
Yeah.
So we have Usha, who is basically like the main character.
Yeah.
We have Kimir, who is the like sort of smuggler guy that we see working with May.
Behind the bar.
Yeah. We have Basil, who we haven't seen in the first 2 episodes yet.
No, but he looks so cute.
He does. I think this is going to be a character that a lot of people become fans of. Little Basil.
Yeah.
We have Yord Fandar,
Yeah.
who
He
is.
looks so cool.
He does, and
With yellow saber as well.
Yes, and this is obviously Mills from Chicago Fire.
Yeah, if any of you have watched Chicago Fire, this is Mills.
Yeah, so getting him because of that as well, but
yeah,
I like his character anyway.
Yeah.
So this is yours, and then we got Jedi Master Soul, who appears to be like the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, because they're High Republic, I will be getting these High Republic Jedi. But
they look so cool though.
We have said, haven't we, that we reckon the other ones that they're gonna make, they're gonna make a May.
Yeah, 100%. Like I looked at this and I was like, how come there isn't a May?
Yeah, I would have thought that Usha would have been May.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be an Indara.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a Venestra row. Like,
I think they've got to do Venestra with her light whip because that's like her main like cool thing. Like,
I mean, it would be quite cool as well.
It makes her very unique.
So if like her pose is like that, and they sort of have the whip going like behind her or something, you know, that'd be quite cool.
Because like the Yord and Jedi Master Soul, both of them have their lightsabers, so it only makes sense for Venestra to have a lightsaber as well.
Yeah.
And being that it's like the only light whip in the universe that we know about.
Speaking of, I did see something the other day. Apparently, I think it was Leah, the woman who basically created the Acolyte, said that there is also a lightsaber going to be in the show that we have not seen before, and it has been like made for the show. Like it's the first time we're going to see it, and I have no idea what it's going to be, but I'm excited. But yeah, I think they're going to do a Kalnaka. I know we saw him briefly at the end of episode 2, but it's like
yeah, the Wookiee.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah. I think I might be getting quite a few Funkos from this show. I mean, I'm definitely getting 2 already.
I mean, you've got quite a hefty Ahsoka collection. Like, you got the Thrawn, you got the Night Troopers, you got Phelan, you got Enoch, and this is going to be the same. You're going to end up with about 5 of them.
Yeah, I know, but I love the High Republic, and I just think having a little collection of High Republic Jedi would be quite cool.
And they look so cool. Like,
they do.
It's crazy how with Funkos, their face is like so similar. It's just a little box head with 2 round eyes. They don't even have a mouth. But like it's crazy how much like their hair and their eyebrows and their outfit makes them look just like the character.
It's crazy.
I don't know how they do it, but yeah. And I think they're really cute as well.
Absolutely.
Just cute little faces. So tiny bodies.
Yep. But yeah, so this is something to look forward to. Again, I can't wait to get my hands on some of these. Like I said, especially Yord and Master Soul. But these are the only 5 that are confirmed at the minute. They haven't released any others. But
I think it's quite cool how Osha's got a little droid as well.
Yes, little Pip droid.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to do more. I know of it, but just looking forward to it, to be fair. Again, the Basil one is quite interesting because it's like we didn't even see him in episodes 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, why have they announced this guy? But I know he is on the poster, so
yeah.
It's not like we don't know he's coming, but
he might be quite new.
Yeah, but he's quite cool. So yeah, I believe we are ready to get into the Acolyte. I do apologize for this picture. Basically, for some reason, it has got, shall we say, damaged, corrupted or something. And now it's turning up tiny and absolutely blurry. So we're just going to skip that one. But we're going to talk about it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2, what did you think out of 10 before we get into it?
10.
For the start, so I want your overall for 1 and 2.
I'd say 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Which is quite high. Like I didn't know much about the High Republic going into this, so I don't know. It's all new characters, and I was a bit skeptical, but I'm actually really impressed by it, and I think this is a really cool era, and yeah, I'm excited for more.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. I'm really happy with this show.
Same here. I'm going to probably give it, I reckon 8.5. I'm going to give it that a little bit. Like, again, it might just be because I've got that sort of knowledge of the novels and the comics. Again, I haven't read them all, but I've read and listened to enough that when something is mentioned or something is seen, I'm like, oh my God, I know what that is. Or, and like seeing the robe, seeing Venestra, like, oh my God.
I must say, their robes do look really cool. Like, I really like the colours, how they're all like.
As you can tell from Jedi Master Chloe's appearance here.
But like, I don't know, they're like the pleats in their outfits and stuff. Like, it just looks so. I don't know. I can't describe it. More fancy. But that's essentially what the High Republic is. It's like, the Jedi at their peak, and they're like, they care about the way they look, and everything's like perfect.
Yeah, they have like temple robes and they have battle robes, like so, or mission robes, I think they're called, so it's like, they have this element to be able to wear that and stuff. So obviously we'll go into it in a bit, but like, as you can see in the photo that we've got up on the screen, you can see that the temple itself is more ornamented. There's gold on the tops of the like spires,
which weren't there in prequels.
No, and it looks a lot more cream, a lot of gold, white than what we see it in the prequels. But
it's crazy to think like how much this temple has been through,
and what's still to come.
Yeah.
In the future of this temple,
like this is like 100 years before Episode 4. This program is set, but the Jedi were around like years before that. So this building is already very old, and then you've got everything that happened at Order 66 of the temple and everything else to come, and it's it's wild.
Yep. So we start the episode on basically the scene that we saw take place in the cinema screening of The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
We were able to see the first couple of minutes, shall we say, of it. So we see the character May.
Indara? Jedi Master Indara?
So we see May sort of walk into this like saloon bar.
Yeah.
And also the aliens as well. It's so nice seeing completely different species that we don't know, or ones that we never really see, and they're all practical. They're all effects with like masks and costumes. I don't think I've seen a CGI alien yet in this show.
No.
Which I love. I know they have the budget for it because this is.
But it makes it authentic, like, that's how George Lucas did it back in the day. Everyone was wearing an outfit, and it's like, it makes things look more realistic, I guess.
Yeah, but it also just looks so much better, So she goes in and she asks for, where's the Jedi? And the bar sort of tender points out to where Master and Dara sat chatting to some locals. And then May gets a bit of a chuckle out of the locals because she's like, Master and Dara? And she sort of looks at her and she's like, attack me with all your anger. And it's like, okay. And then the locals are like, Jedis don't do that. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then she basically like kicks the stool out from one of them, starts fighting them all. And Nara just doesn't react. She just sits there, like watching. And then a table gets flipped, and she's May's about to get shot, but she uses the table as a defense before kicking it and basically squashing the guy. It's like bloody hell.
Yeah.
And then Indara finally reacts and like grabs her, and then May attacks Indara in the saloon. We get to see Indara basically just being like,
just blocking and avoiding every throw that May is throwing her, and it's actually really impressive, like the sort of combat style in,
it's very martial arts, like Kill Bill, like the original sort of samurai ninja films that Star Wars was, which was an inspiration to George Lucas and Star Wars.
Yeah, they've gone back to like, right, what inspired George Lucas? Let's, develop on that. And yeah, the choreography is amazing in this. Like, I know it's very different to like the prequels and stuff. Like the Jedi back then, they'd just get out the lightsaber and it'd be lots of lightsaber fighting that we're used to, but this is more so like peaceful, like only use your lightsaber when you have to kind of thing. It's very much like avoid contact at all costs, like
it's like I said, I know I've said this phrase a lot, since talking about High Republic, but it's like, this is how the Jedi should react. They only attack when necessary. They don't insinuate the fight. They don't, in this whole conflict, we never see Indara make an attack for May. She's always like out of self-defense or to move her away. Using the Force. And then
they're very strong in the Force, in which they can like sense movements before they happen.
Yeah. And then May starts attacking her with these like little daggers. And Indara gets out her lightsaber then and like blocks them. And she still doesn't attack May. And then May then realizes sort of a way to get the edge.
Weakness.
Yeah, which is obviously the Jedi's compassion and duty for protecting life. So May spots the barkeeper like looking up, like so May fires or like throws one of the like daggers at the barkeeper, whatever.
Bartender.
And then sort of Indara uses the Force and stops it like right in front of his face. But then May straight away throws one like straight in her.
Straight in her heart.
And it's like, May used that to say, to think. Anyway, so that's the end of Indara in present day.
Like a metal vest on.
I know a lot of people were like, "Oh wow,
we
didn't expect to be losing her like
no
within 5 minutes of the show starting." It's like, so we see that.
I hope this is not the end of us seeing Indara though.
No, we do know she's coming back in flashbacks, and that we've seen that, so we know she's coming back, but it's still like she's gone. And then obviously May goes to finish off the bar taker, and it's like she sees the sort of alien's kid like holding on.
Oh yeah, that was so sweet.
She then seems to have a bit of compassion and then doesn't kill them.
Because she sort of goes there to pick up a little dagger that's on the table, and then she notices there's a kid there, And I was literally like watching it, and I was like, "See, you would have killed that kid's dad."
Yep.
Because I care about the little ones. Yeah, she would have done a bad thing there if Indara didn't save.
Yep.
So.
And then basically
she did a bad thing anyway in killing Indara, but still.
Yeah. Is this a little hint at her possible redemption? I don't think so, but still. And then is it the next scene when she goes to the Acolyte, when she sees her boss on Acto?
I don't think so. I think that's a little bit later.
Okay. Well, are you sure? Because I think it was quite early on when that happened. Because then I think the title screen come up when he got ignited his red lightsaber, I think. Okay.
I'm not sure.
We see May on what we believe is Acto.
Yeah.
It's not confirmed, but we believe it is.
So if you guys don't know what Acto is, it's the planet where Luke was teaching Rey, and he was going, "What do you feel?" And it's like, "Oh, I feel life and balance, death, blah blah blah." And then there's that big pit, which looks like there's a bunch of seaweed or something coming out of it,
the dark side.
And it's So we think that's where this is.
Yeah. And it would also make sense because people say it's the start of where I think Luke says it's the first Jedi temple, but then it's also this is where the Sith would start as well. So, it makes sense that it would be there.
Yeah, and you got the booth.
And as we see May sort of walking over, we hear this bad guy.
So he's the one we saw in the trailer with the big creepy smile mask.
The proper creepy.
It's kind of like an Inquisitor or something.
Yes, and well, he's definitely not an Inquisitor,
no.
But it's like a Sith. He's some sort of Sith. But anyway, we hear him talking, doing a narration, and we hear him say, steel daggers and weapons are useless at killing a Jedi. You have to be able to kill a Jedi without using a weapon, basically.
Yeah.
Even
though she's just killed Indara with a metal dagger, which I didn't get, but yeah.
But he's because obviously she hasn't got a lightsaber yet. She hasn't earned it. So, it's basically she has to learn to kill a Jedi by
learning their weakness, essentially.
Well, yeah, by you maybe using the Force or something, but you got to become stronger anyway.
Yeah.
So we get that, and then we go to the temple in Coruscant.
We do.
Seeing this wonderful temple.
I do like the look of the temple.
Yeah. And we see what I believe is the main character.
Jedi Master Soul.
Yes. And as you can see here, he is in his white High Republic robes. And this is what the main sort of theory for this scene in the trailers and that was that this was a flashback, but it's not. It's in the present.
Not. Yeah.
And he's teaching these younglings all about the the Force and what do you see, and we see that him mention teachings that are taught later on in life. He says, close your eyes can deceive you. What Ben tells Luke on the Millennium Falcon, and then it's reach out with the Force, and it's what do you see? And it's balance, life.
And then there's this little girl that says, I see fire. Yeah. We all thought that this would be May. Yeah. Like a younger version of May. Turns out it's not.
It's just some kid.
Someone else.
But the interesting thing here, again, showing the High Republic Jedi mentality. She's I see fire. And instead of everyone sort of panicking or Master So being no, he's yes, fire and fire and power. Fire is powerful, and it is there, sort of thing. It's not basically saying don't ignore it. It is part of life. It's learning how to to not let it get out of control. And so and then obviously
there's good parts and bad parts to the Force. It's just not looking deeply into the bad parts, because that can obviously lead to the dark side.
Yeah, but there
has to be balance.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole idea.
Exactly. And then we see Venestra come in.
We do.
She looks cool. I was like, it's Venestra.
I'm excited to see more of her, because she's been through a lot in Jedi.
Yeah. So, without giving away too many spoilers for the novels and comics, if you want to read it, but when we first see her in the novels, she is just become a Jedi Knight, and she is like the youngest Jedi Knight ever. She becomes, basically one of the future stars, shall we say, of the Jedi Order. She goes through some stuff. She becomes a way seeker. Do you remember what a way seeker is?
Someone that doesn't directly follow the Jedi Order.
Well, it's the Jedi Council they don't follow. So basically, they're still a Jedi, but they follow the will of the Force instead of the way of the Council.
Yeah.
So if the High Republic era was to take place in the prequel era, Qui-Gon Jinn would have definitely been a way seeker, because he did that basically anyway.
Yeah.
Anakin would have probably been a way seeker as well, But it doesn't mean that they're not any Jedi, or they're not allowed to. They use the dark side, or they are still a Jedi, but they're just following the way of the Force, not what the Council instructs. Right. This is why there's a difference between the High Republic Jedi and the prequel Jedi, because
they've all learned from different people.
Because the Council, there isn't any way seekers in the prequel era. That is not long. That's not a thing anymore. The Jedi don't do that, so stuff like that. But we see Venestra come in, and she is now a Jedi Master.
And she's the same species as Luminara and Barasoft.
Yes, exactly. Good spot.
So she's green, and she's got the little triangle tattoo markings.
Yes, but when we saw her in the comic, she had purple hair.
Yeah.
But in this, she's completely shaved off her head, and she's got the diamond on her top of her head.
Yeah.
And also, by the sounds of it, she's also a council member. By the sounds of it, and it's really interesting because I want to see what has happened to her, because she has changed a lot from the person that we see in the comics and the novels. She has changed. She is now basically on the council, So we see that, and she tells Saul that his former Padawan has basically been has killed Andara, and that they're sending people to go arrest her, sort of thing. And Saul's like, let me bring her in. She was my apprentice, so she's my failure sort of thing. Anyway, but Indara's like, no, they've already sent people. So yeah. Now we then cut to Usha waking up, or we see this person who we originally think is May waking up on this ship, and it's like, why is May on this ship now? And then we realise through her outfit, her little droid, and her movement, it's not the same person. This is someone else. So this is Ushba. Is it Ushba or is it Usha?
Usha.
So
Or
yeah,
Osha?
Osha. And she's I can't remember the name for it, but she's a mechanic basically, and she's working on a Nemoidian ship.
Yes.
And we get to see live action Nemoidians and the Trade Federation.
So these are the same same species as Newt Gunray and Viceroy. Was it Viceroy?
Yes.
I can't remember.
But yeah,
from the prequels.
And they looked incredible in this, by the way.
They do. They look even better than what they did in like Revenge of the Sith.
It was so good to see them back, and it's like they're so detailed. Like, I can believe it. They have changed their voice a little bit because you could almost say that it was on the fringe of racist a little bit. You know, but they sound incredible. They look incredible. The visual effects and makeup team and all that has been like. So we see that Oisha is working on one of these ships. She is, like I said, a mechanic, so she works in like outer space fixing the ship, like R2 did.
Yeah.
And basically, while she's working on the ship, she fixes something, and there is like a little fire, and it gets fixed. Now, I will say I've seen some videos, and this fandom sometimes really does annoy me. Some people have already just started berating this series already, being like, you can't have fire in space in Star Wars, you're breaking everything.
Even though we've had fire in almost every single
Exactly.
Star Wars
R2D2
thing.
fixing the ship in Phantom Menace. There's fire in space. 2 Death Stars get blown up. Fire in space.
Yep.
Ships get exploded in the trench in the Death Star. Fire in space. I think when R2 gets hit in A New Hope, he's firing. Like, just because you see something and you want to be like, oh, Disney has ruined it, everything. Just like calm down. Just shut up. Enjoy the like show, and stop picking on things that are making accusations before you look at the full picture and that. So
I think either enjoy it or don't watch it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. But yeah, so we see the Trade Federation here, and then by the way, here is Oisha's droid. It's a pip droid.
This was really cool, actually.
I still don't really know how this pip droid works, but she does use it as like almost like a welding tool. She uses it as like put out fire.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's got more different tools.
But it also has a personality. But it's a pip droid.
And it fits in her pocket.
Yeah. And a new droid that we haven't seen.
It's kind of like a pocket needy one.
It is a bit. But this is a new droid. We haven't seen it in Star Wars before, but very cool.
Yeah.
And then, I got very excited about this. Jedi Vector.
The Jedi Vector.
Now, I was so excited when I saw this because this is obviously our first ever sort of sighting of a Jedi Vector in live action.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was beautiful. The colours, took me by a bit of surprise because I'm used to seeing the Jedi Vectors as like white and red, like the High Republic ones. Mm. This one, as you can see, is very orange and black, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah.
I hope this isn't the only time we see it. No, it better not be.
I hope not. I don't think so. I think they've got to show us like the whole, put your lightsaber in the ship to actually.
That would be incredible to activate the weapon systems and that. I'd love to see a Skywing or Skyhawk. I can't remember which one it is. Mm-hmm. Republic long beam as well. That would be so cool. Like, if you've read the material, then you know what they are and how good they are.
There's so much.
And I'm just so glad that we get a live action version of it. And yeah, that was very cool.
There's so much more that they could put in like future episodes.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
So here we have.
Yord and Tassie Ayoda.
There you go. So this is his Padawan. And as you guys can tell, she might look a little bit different, a little bit weird. She is a Zygarian. Still find it odd that we have a Zygarian Jedi. But
she seems nice.
She does.
Yeah.
She does. And Yord, as you can see, they're both in their sort of ceremonial temple attire. And in one of
the colour scheme I'm wearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was meant to be the High Republic. Yeah, we get to see that, like, you know, he's very diplomatic. He's like, we're looking for this person, and they're like, no, she's not here, you know, stuff like that. And then he's like he lifts his hand to be like, you will, and then one of the Nemoidians just like, this block, this level, like, go, sort of thing. He's like, thank you for like helping the Republic, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I will admit, so then we see obviously Yord. He knows Oisha anyway. They knew each other through the like academy when she was a former Jedi, like training. By the way, she's no longer a Jedi, but she was in training, so they know each other. And the Padawan basically asks all the questions and like is a little bit uncomfortable because it's like Yord doesn't want to arrest his like former friend, but has to. And I will say as well, there was a breakdown video and I thought it was quite funny. He was like, it's nice to see that the Padawans are like like the grade, or you know, the like high grade all A's sort of student that you would get at school. You know, they're very like teacher's pet almost in this, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like Anakin where it's like doing his own thing or has his own will. You know,
No.
even Ahsoka's like very her own person.
Yeah.
Like she's very teacher's pet in this, but it's quite funny, I thought.
Yeah.
And then we see them put Oisha on this like prison transport ship that's heading back to Coruscant, and they obviously fly back themselves.
Yeah.
Now, yes, here, by the way, here's that shot of the Acolyte, or the unnamed Sith, lighting his lightsaber on what we believe is Acto.
It does definitely look like Acto. So
I don't see this as like a very red lightsaber. I think it might just be the lighting, but it looked a bit off. But like when you see the lightsaber in the trailers and that, you do know that it's like red. It's not like orange or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we see that like these prisoners and all these different sort of weird alien types as well were like wanting to get off this prison ship that is fully automated, like droids. They basically crash the ship, and Oisha without using the Force, because she doesn't have it anymore, or you know, doesn't use it. Basically straps herself in and crashes down on this planet. She's lucky to survive, but
yeah, I thought that as well. Was like, are we gonna see her like be okay?
Yeah. So then, obviously,
and there's that guy that has the sort of like face hugger.
It's like a parasite, and it like basically subdues him.
Because she almost escapes, and then she's like, I can't escape without saving him. So she gets it off him, and then he's like crazy, and he just runs off, and he's like
gets in the escape pod before and then leaves.
Yeah.
Like,
so then she's like, no, you took the last escape pod. What have you done? So she's probably regretting that at that moment, but. Yeah, and I thought the like chairs were pretty cool. How it was like autopilot, and the chairs were the droids, but then when they got shut off, then they sort of like turned back into a chair, but it was a droid. It was quite cool.
It was quite a cool little thing.
Yeah, and it reminds me of that like the like cantina droid in the Mando.
Yeah.
The ones that were in the originals at Jabba's palace.
Yeah. And then so then sort of Master Soul learns that like the ship has crashed. So he says to Indara, look, I'm gonna go to the site and recover her. So
and she's like, it's dangerous.
Basically bring a small team.
Yeah.
And we see him.
Not Indara, Venestra.
Venestra, yes, sorry. So he's and then they have captured all the escaped prisoners anyway, and Master Soul goes up to the crazy one and just like uses the Force on this supposed Jedi, you know, like weirdo,
and then he says the truth that she tried to help me, but I took the last escape pod. And then he's like, okay, well, we know that she's in the ship then, because she's not here. She didn't get an escape pod, so there's no other way of escaping. And, you know, they've located the ship. So he's like, right, I know where to find her, basically.
Yep. And then we see how simple he uses the, like, mind trick. It's just like...
Yeah.
And you just see him, the guy just, like...
It was so impressive.
Yeah.
Like, this Jedi Master Soul, he's really powerful.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then we see sort of him go on to. He basically goes and sees his his Padawan, current Padawan, played by Daphne Keane. I can't remember her name. Jackie. Yeah.
Jackie O, I think, something like
Jackie
that.
Law or something.
Yeah.
But we see Jackie come and visit Master Soul, and he has an old like hologram projector of Oisha. Yeah. And she is again very like all A's student, does, you know, like everything like as instructed.
Yeah.
He's like, may I ask a question, Master? And he's like, you can, like.
Yeah.
She's like, why have you got an old recording of your... Yeah. And he's like, because we need, if we don't learn or remember our, you know, our past, then we won't, you know, learn to make the right choices in the future, sort of thing. So, yeah. And then
I like Jackie. I think she's gonna be a cool character.
Yes, and I can't remember, she's a half different species. I can't remember. I'll tell you next episode. I can't remember. I remember seeing she's half something. So she's probably human and
something else.
Yeah. So then we see them go onto the ship with Yord, and Yord's like shirtless.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
And then she sort of like sassily says to him, like, put a shirt on.
Yeah. And he's like, got it.
Yeah. We're happy again.
Yeah, and then so they then sort of head off to the crash ship, and we see that Oisha has survived, and she has this weird little hallucination where she goes back and sort of sees like this other person, like this kid, like her sister, and this is where it's sort of revealed that it's like they're not the same person.
No.
And we later reveal in the episode that like, or in the episodes that Master Soul realized that her sister was believed to be dead.
Yeah.
That's why everyone assumed May was Oisha.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she then wakes up again on the ship, and we see them here, and I don't remember what exact ship this is, but I believe it is something like the Skyhawk, I believe.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but it's very cool, and it takes off from the like Jedi Temple. So
yeah.
we know that it is like a Jedi Republic thing. So yeah, so that's quite cool. And then they obviously go to the planet, and they use like Master Soul using like his senses, basically follows the trail.
I thought that was so cool, like how
it's just like,
he's just sort of like,
that way.
Follow me, we're going here.
Follow me. Yeah.
Like he seems really powerful and like strong with the Force. Like he senses things.
Yeah. And we can also see as well that they've all sort of changed into their mission robes.
Yeah.
So they have the sort of brown jacket that we're familiar with, like the brown robe, and then the attire.
Kind of mustard yellow.
Yeah, like you still tell it's like a Jedi, but it's like this isn't their ceremonial appearance. And they basically track her down to this like edge of cliff, and she's like, "It wasn't me." And straight away, Master Soul's like, "I know.
I believe you.
I believe you." Like,
it's not you. I know you wouldn't do this kind of thing. He's like, "Take my hand."
And then she slips.
Oh yeah.
So this is what this bit is from. So she slips, and he just uses the Force to catch her.
Yeah, because she's like levitating, and she's there like, what?
And he lifts her up, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah. And then I thought it was really funny, like when they went back in, and then Jackie's there holding the like handcuffs, and she's like, "Do you want me to cuff her?" And then he's just like, "No,
no need for this.
No, come along. She's fine. She's not gonna run away."
And I find it really interesting because Yord is looking on very much like, I think you should be careful with her. Like, you're just going to let her run through. Yeah. I think, and which is
the whole way through kind of like, how do you know that she's not the one that killed Indara?
Yeah. And then while they're on the ship, they get a call. Basic. Well, actually, what we then see is quite a nice bit of scenes of like Soul chatting to Oyster on the ship, her chatting to, was it Joffy? Was it Jackie? That's it. My bad. And they're sort of chatting on the ship and that, and Yord tells Soul that he's like, should we really be letting the criminal free and that?
And he's like, she has a sister.
She died, but it's like, because she says as well, May's alive. Like, he's like, I believe.
So he's like, okay.
And then we see that like May is on this planet with another Jedi. I think this is the start of episode 2 now. So we see that she like goes to this temple on this planet. I can't remember the planet name, but she basically pays a kid to distract the Jedi temple like gate droid that we see, very similar to like the one in
Jabba's palace.
But it's got like 2 eyes instead. It looks a little bit more friendly. Yeah. And the droid's like, this is a Jedi temple, this isn't a toy sort of thing. And May puts like a slicer on it and like hacks it basically. So she's now entered this Jedi temple, and she very sneakily, she very casually actually walks in and around the temple until she comes across Master Torin, who is levitating and meditating. Now,
very similar to Rey when she just floats in the air.
Yeah. And she's like talking to him and he's not responding. So she goes to attack him and she can't get near him.
Yeah.
There is this impenetrable barrier.
Yeah.
Now I do remember, I can't remember the name specifically, but I know this is called his meditation. What he's doing is something called like the Bakshatar or something like that. Again, don't quote me on that because I can't remember it exactly, but it's basically that. So he's had this traumatic event or something happen where he's gone into this meditative state where he hasn't spoken to or interacted with anyone in years, you know. And some Jedi have done this in the High Republic, like Elzar Mann goes off to, you know, find himself. Not for like, you know, it doesn't mean that they do it for years like Torrin has, but it's like he's been in that state for like a long time.
Yeah.
It's a special meditation. She's like, she realizes that she can't get anywhere near him, so she bolts out of there and gets out of there.
Yeah.
So we then go we then see sort of a Nestra contact.
Jedi Master Soul.
Yeah,
and be
saying,
like, we've got a sighting of May on this planet. And then he's like, wow, that just confirms it, that it's not
Oisha because she's with me.
Yeah, she can't be in two places at once.
Yep.
So he's like, right, okay, definitely know May's still out.
Yeah. So we then see sort of like the next day, that's where they head. We see May meet with Kimmer, the one we had in the Funko.
Oh, yeah.
The sort of smuggler.
The, like, bar guy.
He's not a bar guy because it's not his shop, but he's posing as the guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she has a conversation. He clearly knows May's story.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, though, he does say the first line of the Sith code to May, and he says, "Peace is a lie." Now, that is the first line in the Sith code. So a lot of people are immediately saying that this guy is actually Sith's, May's master.
I don't know.
I don't believe it, but it is maybe a bit of a teaser because it's like, well, he's just said the first line of the Sith code. So it's like, and we learn from May that like she needs to kill a Jedi to impress the master without using like a weapon. So she's like, I need some sort of poison thing. And he's like, well, that's not exactly what he is. She's like, I'm just doing it my way. Like, I need him gone, sort of thing. So he cocks up this sort of, this poison, yeah. And then we sort of see the four of them, Sol, Jeki, and Yord, and Oisha like chatting to one of the sort of Jedis from the Jedi Temple outpost.
Yeah.
Their robes are a little bit different, and he's like, why are Coruscant like being out here? You know, like why is there Coruscant Jedi out here, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, we need to see Master Torrin like now.
And so he's like, good luck getting a word out of him.
He hasn't spoken to anyone in like 10 years or whatever. Anyway, so they enter the temple. May sees again this younger version of like her sister, and she actually follows the kid apparition, and Yord notices, so he follows her, and May then goes and speaks to Torrin, and she's like, I've come to give you like an end, basically. I've got an absolute for you, or sort of thing, absolution sort of thing. So she puts a little vial in front of him, and he like opens his eyes, comes out of the meditation, and he's like, I've been waiting, for you, for this, for forgiveness, sort of thing, whatever. And then he instantly just drinks the vial, and that's the end of Master Torrin.
Yeah.
Again, we are going to see him in a flashback and to why he is in this like state. What was so bad that he went into this,
Yeah, because it's all a bit confusing at the minute. But then obviously Usha comes in, and then finds him dead.
And she picks up the vial, and immediately
the Coruscant Jedi, he's there like...
No, not the Coruscant Jedi, the Jedi Temple out guy.
Yeah.
It's like, get away from him, like, and ignites the lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then
straight away blaming her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's not what it looks like. And then
Yord.
Yord backs her up. He's like, no, I followed her here. He was dead when she got here.
Yeah.
And you're like,
she hasn't
yes.
left. I was like, thank you, Yord.
Yes.
But he's a Jedi that follows like the book.
Yeah.
I mean, originally I was like, Yord's going to blame it on her because I was
Yeah.
like, he's that sort of person. But no.
No, he's good.
So anyway, they realise as well that like May's been chatting to this person.
Mm-hmm.
So they send in Oisha
Yeah.
to pretend to be May.
Yeah.
Who gets a little bit of information out, and then they sort of go in and confront the guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, May's coming back because I've got some stuff for her, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they sort of set a trap. May is then confronted by her old master, or confronted by Sol.
Yeah.
And
She's
he
like, what?
and he tells her that like Oyster is alive.
Yeah.
Like, don't, like, you don't need to do this. And she's like, liar, like she doesn't believe him at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then again she does the same thing of like, attack me with all your anger, like attack me. And she's like, no, Master Soul's not falling for that. Like,
no.
So then she obviously attacks him.
Mm-hmm.
Again, his movements are very like,
it was
stops her, throws her like out the way, sort of thing. And then when she does like a flip and he sort of wipes out her leg, he catches her, like holds her in midair, like, again, what the Jedi should be. They're not trying to hurt you. You're trying to save you, even though you're trying to kill them. So, yeah, Master Soul is very good in my opinion. I like him.
Yeah, I just love the choreography, and there's obviously the bit as well where she's trying to attack him with the daggers. Yeah,
and then he does like, again, she goes to grab his lightsaber, and he just sort of like turns.
Yeah, and she's like this close to it, and he's just like.
But you see it like
his not having it.
Yeah, and then she then like they have like a little spin moment sort of thing, and she's then like, huh? Yeah. And he's holding like all her daggers. He's like, you really think, or whatever. It's like, I was like, oh, yeah, that's the Soul. You're good.
So good.
And then it's like she has another one sort of hid up her sleeve. And just as he's like about to like throw it, even though Master Soul would have caught it, Yord jumps down and is like, no, you're under arrest, sort of thing.
Yep.
And then we see that like the spotlight come down from the Jedi ship.
Yep. And Jackie's there like, you're under arrest by the Republic, blah blah blah. And then May's there like, oh, what have I got myself into?
Yep.
Also, just to point out, this is a really cool pic of this bar here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a long stick, which is metal and it has all these cylinder things on it. It's the same type of stick that Luke used in the trash compactor.
Yep.
And then there's one in the background in Mandalorian as well.
Yep. And now there's one here.
So yeah,
next to Yord.
Little Easter egg there.
Yeah. We got one here of Yord.
Yes.
Using the Force to take that last dagger.
Yeah.
But then May, being sort of a survivalist, she uses the Force on the like dirt.
Some dust.
So she basically sends the dirt flying and disappears.
And they're like, where's she gone?
Yeah. And then we get this quite like.
Doesn't she take off in like a speeder or something? And
no,
then...
not yet.
Oh.
So she basically goes off on the run.
Yeah.
And May sort of works, or Oisha knows where she's going, follows her, and she's been given this stun gun to like use basically.
Yeah.
And May sees her because May basically takes this speeder.
Yeah.
And she sat in it, and Oisha's like pointing the gun at her.
Yeah.
She's like,
but she's just kind of frozen for a second because she's like,
Yeah.
Do I do it? This is my sister.
Yeah, but then May's like
Is this the
looking
right
at
thing?
her like, Oisha, like, can't
Yeah.
believe that she's alive. And then Oisha fires the stun gun, but like deliberately misses. And then like May speeds off, and
Yeah.
Oisha like tries.
Shoots again, but it's still missing.
Yeah.
And Master Soul just like,
Yeah. Damn it. Oh bugger.
Oh dear, we lost
Yes. That wasn't meant to happen. And then obviously we sort of learn as well that like, so this is Kiara, I think was his name, Kara or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is that guy that's sort of working with May, and so May goes back to the place,
and she's like, "You sold me out."
Yep. And she was like, "I had to, like, Jedi everywhere."
Yeah.
But he's like, "I know how to get to the planet. I know where the Wookiee is." So then we see him basically escape the Jedi's like overlook from the temple that they were like looking at him. So he escapes with May, and then we know now that they're heading to the place where the Wookiee Jedi is, which is Kalnaka. And we know as well
so cool.
that the Jedi are also heading there. And we see this bit as well where like we see Sol in the ship being like, she's going for like Kalnaka or something.
Yeah.
And Vanessa's like, well, this has gone from like a former apprentice to like an assassin sort of thing.
Yeah.
You have to wait until the council decide. Again, like I said, it is a very different Vanestra. So,
because she's like, at first we thought this was like your Padawan that had fallen to dark side, and you would be able to like get her out of it. But this is entirely different because this is an acolyte.
yeah.
You know.
But basically, Sol's like, we're going, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
because it gets revealed like a bit earlier where we know that she's after these 3 Jedi.
yeah, she's after these specific Jedi. So the first one was Indara.
Yeah.
The next one was Torren. We also have Sol.
Master Sol.
Sol is on that list. And also we know as well that
the
Wookiee Kalnaka is also on her list. So we then end the episode on the planet. I can't remember the planet's name, but we end it on where Kalnaka is. And we see these 2 sort of weird, like, just wanderers looking at this, like, ship. And they're like, whoa, I wonder what junk's in there. And then we just see sort of Kalnaka, not in, like, any robes, just in his Wookiee look, like, doing his thing. And then one of them draws, a blaster, and he's just like, snaps it. And they're like, run. I'm like, yes, Kalnaka. And then Kalnaka just sort of, like, scares them off, just like, so I can't wait to see Kalnaka. And yeah, that was episode 1 and 2 of the Acolyte. Can't wait for episode 3 next week.
Nice like start to the series as well. Like we're introduced to every character. Well, probably not every character.
Not Basil. We haven't met Basil yet.
There's more to see, but like we're introduced to the main lot, and I think it's really good.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And I know that I'm probably going to be heartbroken because not all of these people are going to survive this show. I'm like, oh my god, can't have that. But yeah, so that is the Acolyte 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you got a Trooper of the Week for us this week?
I do. Let me find nothing. There we go. So it's just disappeared.
Oh.
Bear with me. So it is an artist on Instagram called Art by PT Williams, and he's done this really cool drawing of Enoch and Night Trooper.
Mm.
But it's like really detailed.
Oh wow,
It was really cool.
that is very cool. You know I like Enoch,
Yeah.
so
I mean, you can't really see it very well, but it's like a pencil drawing, and like all the details on the stormtrooper,
like the cracks and that.
Yeah, looks really cool.
Very cool.
That's my trooper of the week.
Well, that's our trooper of the week this week. So yeah, we got meme of the week for you guys.
We do. I thought this was actually really fun.
So
we have a set of 3 Domino's pizza bites. If you guys don't know what Domino's pizza is, it's a takeaway place. They sell pizza, and there's 3 of them that have been knocked over, and obviously the name Domino's being knocked over, and then you got Palpatine going, "It's ironic."
I mean, I love that quote from him anyway, and I do use it in real life as well. Like, I'll be at work and be like, ironic. Yeah, no, it is ironic that the Domino's pizzas
fallen over.
yes, like Domino's.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite a funny one, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that is it for this week's episode. We will be back next week for episode 3 of the Acolyte.
Yes.
Oh, can't wait! More Acolyte, more High Republic.
Yeah.
I'm
hoping next episode we'll see a bit more of Kalnaka.
Yeah, I want to see more of Kalnaka because he's a Wookiee Jedi.
Yeah, and he does look really cool as well.
Yeah. Also, I just remembered as well, seeing a post about it. Tomorrow there is a Hasbro Pulse event thing.
Yes.
So probably next week we're going to have
products.
Lots of figures and stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So we'll
show you all them next week.
So what we lacked this week, we'll make up for next week.
But this week we got 2 episodes of the Acolyte.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We got something.
And yes, we're not going to reveal anything yet because it's not confirmed. But we have had some potentially very exciting news for potential future guests on this podcast. We're not going to reveal anything yet because nothing is set in stone. But it's a biggie. Me and you are both very excited about this possible opportunity. I don't want to jinx it yet, but this is something that I think you guys will love. I mean, I will if it happens. So keep listening. We hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and we will see you next week. May the Force be with you.